This is Planning Your I Do from You Had Me at I Do. For over a quarter century, You Had Me at I Do has been helping couples say, I do. We bring more than 400 weddings of real-world experience as an officiant and a DJ, and this podcast is packed with what you, as the bride and groom, need to know, what you're wondering about, and what's keeping you up at night. No judgment, no fluff, just real answers and ideas for real planning. Here's today's episode.
You know, the single most expensive, friendship-altering, just wildly stress-inducing decision of your entire wedding isn't actually the venue.
Oh, absolutely not.
Right, and it's not the catering either. Yeah. It happens almost the literal minute you get engaged. Like, the champagne is still bubbling, and you look at your partner to ask this seemingly innocent question.
Who is going to stand up there with us?
Exactly. Who are our bridesmaids and groomsmen?
It sounds so fun, right? Like, it should be the easiest, most joyful part of planning. You just list out your favorite people.
Yeah, just make a list.
But behind that one simple question is a massive, just tangled web of human emotion. For a lot of couples, choosing the wedding party is the exact moment they realize that planning a wedding actually means managing everyone else's emotions.
Wow.
Their expectations, their insecurities, not just your own.
You're suddenly hit with this crazy cocktail of guilt and symmetry, anxiety, complex family politics.
The promises you made to a roommate in a dorm room 5 years ago.
Yes. It goes from a romantic celebration to a delicate political negotiation overnight.
It really does. And that deeply isolating feeling is exactly why we are doing this deep dive into planning your I Do today.
Brought to you by You Had Me at I Do.
Because between the two of us, we have over 26 years of experience in this industry. We've officiated and been an active part of more than 400 weddings.
That is a lot of wedding parties.
So many. We've seen the perfectly matched sides. We've seen the wonderfully uneven ones. We've managed intimate parties of 2. And, well, we've navigated massive parties of 16.
Oh my gosh, 16?
Yeah. And our core mission today is very simple. Your wedding party is about who you actually need beside you on the day.
Yeah.
That is it.
Period.
It is not about matching numbers. And it is definitely not a receiving line of obligation.
I love that, a receiving line of obligation. So before we even get into the drama of, who makes the final cut, we need to address the first thing that usually spirals completely out of control.
The sheer size of the group.
Right. Because it seems like couples often let the internet dictate their numbers long before they actually look at the reality of their wedding day.
Oh, the aesthetic pressure right now is immense.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend 10 minutes scrolling online, and your feed is just flooded with these gorgeous, sweeping photos.
Right. The 12 attendants in perfectly coordinated sage green dresses.
Laughing in a sunlit field, exactly.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible on a screen.
Yeah.
But you have to remember that those images are highly curated.
Yeah.
When couples use that as a baseline, they end up asking 9 or 10 people to stand with them simply because they assume, well, that's what a real wedding is supposed to look like today.
But there are very real, physical constraints that get ignored until the deposits are already paid.
Precisely. Like the actual physical space you are getting married in.
You can't put 12 people at the front of a room that was built for 50.
No, you really can't. If you're getting married in a charming historic chapel with a narrow aisle, and you have 6 bridesmaids in formal dresses trying to stand up front with you, they are going to be shoulder to shoulder.
Oh, completely.
They'll be blocking the view of your family. They will be sweating. It feels incredibly crowded very fast.
And then you get to the reception. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your head table needs to physically accommodate everyone you ask to stand up with you, plus their dates. So suddenly, you need a 25-foot table just to seat your wedding party.
It fundamentally changes the layout of your entire reception. It's like adding moving parts to an engine.
That's a great way to put it.
Every single bridesmaid or groomsman is a new gear, a new group text thread, a new dietary restriction to track, or a new flight delay to worry about. Eventually, if you add too many gears, the engine just seizes up.
The math of logistics is entirely unforgiving. Let's take hair and makeup on the morning of the wedding, for example.
Okay, yeah.
If you have 8 attendants, and each person requires 45 minutes for services, plus you, plus the moms, you're suddenly looking at a start time of 5 in the morning.
5 in the morning, just to be ready for afternoon photos.
Yes. More people means booking larger, much more complicated transportation to the venue. It means wrangling a massive, chaotic group for the rehearsal dinner.
Right.
And most importantly, it means significantly higher chances of someone running late when you are literally just trying to start your processional on time.
Because the true cost of a massive wedding party isn't just financial, it's your emotional bandwidth.
Completely. We worked with a bride once who had 9 bridesmaids.
9.
9. And when I asked her why she chose 9, she simply said she didn't want to leave anyone from her sorority out.
Oh, that is so common.
It is. But by the time they added up everything, the financial and emotional cost was staggering. The getting ready suite was packed with 9 attendants, 2 moms, 3 stylists, and the photographer.
That sounds so stressful.
The sheer volume of competing energy in that room was chaotic. She was managing all their dress orders, paying for an upgraded suite just to fit everyone.
Right, because standard hotel rooms aren't built for 15 people to get ready in.
Exactly. And she was trying to coordinate bachelorette travel for 10 different incomes. She loved her friends, but she deeply regretted not asking herself sooner if a smaller circle would have provided more actual support.
Rather than just like a visual impact.
Exactly.
Which brings up a really crucial gut check question for anyone listening right now. If you look at your mental list, can you actually name what each person will do for you emotionally or practically during the planning process?
And on the day itself.
Right. If your only answer is, well, I've known them a really long time, you need to pause.
And when couples do pause, and they actually decide to shrink that list down to the essentials, they almost immediately crash into the next psychological wall.
The fear of lopsided sides.
The symmetry myth. What happens if you only want 3 people up there, but your partner has 6 brothers and best friends?
The anxiety over asymmetrical wedding parties is wild to me. It's like people believe the marriage is somehow legally invalid if the sides don't match perfectly.
Right. But we are so used to viewing symmetry as balanced and safe. When a bride looks at a lopsided wedding party on paper, her brain interprets it as a social deficit.
Like she's literally lacking support on one side of her life.
Exactly. But a wedding is not a geometry test. It is a living, breathing family tree. The idea that you have to force symmetry is a myth we need to just delete from the internet permanently.
Let me stop you there, though, because that sounds great, right? Highly enlightened in theory. But I'm putting myself in the shoes of an anxious listener.
Okay, play devil's advocate.
If the groom has 3 guys and the bride has 7 bridesmaids, won't people at the reception notice? Doesn't it visually scream to the guests that one person couldn't find enough friends?
I promise you, nobody sitting in those folding chairs is doing the math. Really. Guests care about witnessing a happy, supportive group surrounding you. They're looking at the joy on your faces. They aren't counting heads.
Okay, fair enough.
If he has 3 and you have 7, that is fine. If you have 2 and your partner has 5, perfectly fine.
What if one side is all family?
If one side is entirely siblings and the other is all friends from college, that is a beautiful reflection of your actual lives.
But what about the photos and the ceremony itself? Doesn't a lopsided group throw off the whole production of walking down the aisle?
Not at all. Professional photographers shoot uneven wedding parties every single weekend. They know exactly how to compose a beautiful group photo by staggering people.
Right, using different levels.
Exactly. So it doesn't look like a lopsided sports team facing off. And as for the processional, your officiant will cue everyone in, and they will walk down the aisle beautifully.
You can just double up, right?
Absolutely. You can have 2 bridesmaids walk with 1 groomsman. You do not need to draft 3 random acquaintances onto your side just to balance out your partner's large family.
It really comes back to authenticity versus staging. Do you have a specific example of when this asymmetry actually, elevated a ceremony?
Oh, absolutely. One of the most profoundly moving ceremonies we ever officiated involved a bride with exactly 1 maid of honor, her absolute best friend in the world.
Just one.
Just 1. But the groom had 4 groomsmen, and all 4 of them were his brothers.
Oh, wow. So 1 versus 4?
Visually, you had 1 person on the left and 4 on the right. But the asymmetry was deeply honest. It told the authentic story of their actual families.
Yeah.
The groom was standing there, supported by a literal wall of brotherhood. And the bride was standing there with the single person who knew her better than anyone else.
That actually sounds amazing.
It was. It didn't look like a rigid template they had failed to follow. It looked exactly like them. When you embrace who you actually want up there, The symmetry simply stops mattering.
But once you strip away the excuse of needing symmetrical photos, you are left completely exposed.
You really are.
You can no longer hide behind the math. You can't say, I'm asking you because we need an even number. You have to face the real, uncomfortable truth of evaluating the friendships themselves.
And that means editing your list.
Which is the work nobody wants to do.
No one wants to do it. You get engaged, you pop the champagne, and that very night you start mentally assigning roles.
Yeah.
But a few months later, the list feels way too heavy.
Or you realize someone you love just doesn't fit the high-stress role you imagined.
Letting go of symmetry forces you to be deeply honest about who is actually capable of supporting you.
It's the sunk cost fallacy of friendship. We tell ourselves, well, I was in her wedding 5 years ago, or we've been best friends since middle school, I have to ask her.
Precisely. Before you finalize that list, you have to ask yourself, am I keeping this person because they will be a solid support system on the most emotionally charged day of my life? Or am I keeping them to manage someone else's feelings about what my party should look like?
You have to identify the keepers versus the energy drains.
Yes.
So what does a keeper actually look like in practice? Because it's not always the person you go out to the bars with on a Friday night, right?
Yeah. Not usually, no. The keepers are the people who are reliably kind. They show up when things are boring or difficult. They handle responsibility with grace.
Give me an example of what they do on the day.
A keeper is the friend who will quietly track down your mom when she wanders off before family photos.
Oh, that's huge.
Right. Or the one who will make sure you drink a glass of water without ever needing to be asked. And here is the crucial distinction. A keeper is a keeper, even if you haven't spoken every single week since college.
It's about the quality of their presence.
Exactly. Their ability to ground you, not the frequency of your text messages.
And on the flip side, what are the glaring signals that someone, no matter how long you've known them, shouldn't be standing up with you?
Watch out for the people who manufacture drama.
Oh, boy.
The friends who casually dismiss your choices. Or who have a deeply ingrained habit of making every single situation about them.
Yes, the spotlight stealers.
Exactly. If someone stresses you out on a normal Tuesday lunch date, they're going to severely stress you out on the morning of your wedding when tensions are incredibly high.
That makes so much sense.
That is a clear signal to cut them from the standing party. Length of friendship does not automatically equal wedding carding material.
It really is the difference between building a reliable support team and managing a PR crisis while you're trying to get your hair done.
That's exactly what it is.
But how do you actually do that? How do you look someone in the eye and say, you aren't in the wedding party, without them feeling completely unloved and like ending the friendship?
Well, the first thing you have to internalize is that not being a bridesmaid or groomsman does not mean not being loved.
Right.
You can still invite them, you can cherish them as a guest, and most importantly, you can still honor them in the ceremony. You can protect your peace and your numbers while still actively including the people you love.
Which brings us to a really brilliant middle ground, the house party, or honorary roles.
Yes. Some of the most vital, memorable people in the hundreds of weddings we've done weren't in the official standing party at all.
They were honorary attendants.
Exactly. These are people you love who perform a specific, meaningful job. They aren't just standing in a line in a matching dress. They are actively contributing to the narrative of your day.
Give me some concrete examples of how to utilize these roles effectively, because I think people struggle to picture this.
Sure. They could be ushering your guests to their seats with a warm smile, setting the tone before the ceremony even begins.
Okay, yeah.
They might be managing the guest book or coordinating a specific cultural tradition during the reception. We've seen couples ask their grandparents to serve as flower presenters.
Oh, handing out single stems to guests as they arrive. I love that.
It's beautiful. We have seen best friends step up to the microphone to deliver incredibly moving readings during the ceremony, or siblings who weren't in the processional giving knockout toasts at the reception.
I have to stop you there again because I can hear the hesitation from our listener.
Yeah, what is it?
If I go to my college buddy and say, hey, man, you aren't a groomsman, but can you hand out programs at the door?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he going to feel like he just got handed a consolation prize?
The participation trophy.
Exactly. Like, how do you actually phrase that without sounding condescending?
It is entirely about the delivery. You don't approach it as an apology, and you certainly don't frame it as a demotion.
Right.
You approach it as a specific honor. You pull them aside and say, you are so important to our story, and we want you actively involved in the ceremony itself. Would you be willing to read this specific poem for us? We chose it because it made us think of you.
Oh, that's good.
Right. In our experience, when you give someone a singular, meaningful purpose, they feel chosen. They feel seen.
And let's be honest about the massive unspoken benefit of giving someone an honorary role instead of a standing role.
But the cost.
Yes, they don't have to buy a matching dress. They don't have to fly in for a wildly expensive 3-day bachelorette weekend. It is an inclusion without the massive financial expense.
You are touching on one of the biggest sources of unspoken drama in modern weddings. The financial strain.
It's huge.
By choosing your attendants wisely, you're also taking a responsibility for their wallets. We have to have a very blunt conversation about what you are actually asking your wedding party to pay for.
Because we are living in the bachelorette content era, the expectations have skyrocketed.
They really have.
It's no longer just buying a dress. It's buying matching silk pajamas for a video, splitting a massive house rental, covering a share of the bride's flights. I mean, the awkward payment requests alone can ruin a friendship.
Being in a wedding party today is a massive financial commitment. It is the dress or the suit. It's the alterations, which, let me tell you, can sometimes cost as much as the outfit itself.
You see?
Oh, yes. It's the specific shoes, the travel for the shower, the flights for the bachelorette, paying for day of hair and makeup, and buying a wedding gift on top of all of that.
That is a lot to ask.
You are often asking people in their 20s, who might be paying off student loans or saving for their own lives, to commit thousands of dollars across several months.
So if a couple is listening to this and realizing they are asking a lot, what is the most practical way to handle it without causing deep resentment?
You must be fiercely honest early on. You do not have to give them an itemized spreadsheet, but you do have to be transparent about what you are envisioning.
Like setting expectations right at the start.
Exactly. If your vision includes a designer gown at a high price point or a destination bachelorette weekend, you need to tell them immediately before they say yes.
Right, so they know what they're getting into.
They need the opportunity to decide if they can genuinely budget for it.
You have to give them the gift of clarity.
The greatest gift you can give your wedding party is clarity. And on a practical level, you can also extend some empathy. Choose dresses in a reasonable price range. Skip the strict mandate for expensive matching shoes that no one will ever wear again.
It's a good tip.
And strongly consider keeping pre-wedding events local or making them completely optional without any guilt attached.
And I'll jump in to make sure the groomsmen aren't forgotten in this conversation. Because dropping hundreds on suit rentals, booking flights for a bachelor party, chipping in for expensive dinners that hits their wallets just as hard.
Yeah, definitely.
The partner needs to have the exact same transparency conversation with their side of the aisle.
Both sides need that clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And there is one final non-negotiable rule when it comes to expenses. The rule of grace.
What's the rule of grace?
If you have that honest conversation up front and a friend declines to be in the wedding party because of the financial burden, you must receive that with grace.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Do not guilt them. Do not freeze them out. A true friend would much rather be honest with you than go silently into debt just to stand in your pictures.
That is a vital perspective. A wedding party is supposed to be your support system, not a debt repayment plan. Let's tie all of this together. We've covered the logistics of numbers, the psychology of symmetry, the hard conversations, and the modern financial realities. When the dust finally settles on all this planning, what should the listener focus on?
We want you to walk away from this deep dive with 3 very actionable takeaways.
Okay, let's hear them.
Number 1, choose the people who help you breathe. Pick the ones who will fix your veil without being asked and who will laugh with you when the timeline inevitably runs late on the morning of your wedding.
The keepers.
The keepers. Number 2, ditch the symmetry rule entirely. Let your sides be uneven, unconventional, and authentically yours. Love it. And number 3, give the gift of clarity. Be completely transparent about your financial and time expectations right from the start.
I absolutely love that. And here's a final provocative thought I want to leave you with today. The next time you find yourself staring at your list, feeling pressured to add someone out of guilt or social obligation, ask yourself this one simple question. If the worst happens, if it pours rain, if the caterer is late, if the zipper breaks, will their presence in that tiny getting ready room bring calm, or will it bring chaos?
That is the only question that matters. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We are so grateful to share these insights with you. You can always visit us at youhadme@ido.com for more deep dives and guidance on planning your day. Take a deep breath, trust your gut, and we will talk to you next time.
You've been listening to Planning Your I Do from You Had Me at I Do. Show notes, planning help, and ceremony support are at youhadmeatido.com/podcast. Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, and send it to a bride friend who needs answers instead of more stress at 2 in the morning. Thanks for listening.